10 years ago, a certain law was passed by the High Council that made the very existence of the Megatrons, the most advanced family of robots, illegal, thus commencing an era where humans began hunting down their own creations without mercy. Jun Cason, the protagonist of this world far into the future, is sentenced to death for committing one of the worst crimes of recent times. While drowning in depression and awaiting his death, one day a strange man visits him and makes him an offer. Spend the last 2 weeks of your life in this tiny jail cell, or live for 1 week as a free man. Only catch is, you'd have to go to that mysterious place in the galaxy where living things die of unknown reasons for our research project. Finding a tiny ray of hope in the darkness, Jun accepts the offer. On his last day as a free man, Jun witnesses a very cruel public execution of the Megatrons while being out on the streets. Megatrons resemble human beings, so when he sees a teenage Megatron girl getting violently killed right in front of him, his sense of justice arises, and he ends up saving the girl's lover, a Megatron teenager named Nixon. Out of gratitude, Nixon attempts to save Jun from the peril that awaits him in outer space, but ends in failure. How could Jun ever hope to survive the Obion planet clusters where the deadly aliens lurk? After learning the conspiracy and the corruption of the High Council who rules the world, would he be willing to assist the revolutionaries and help them by committing the same crime that got him a death sentence once again? Follow along as Jun faces one perilous trial after another and rises against the most powerful supercomputer humanity has ever built, the terrible tyrant Keygen Computer. A deal you can't refuse. I was sentenced to death a few days earlier. Now don't bug me, because I have no wish to start a full-on debate on whether or not I was rightly judged for my sin and crime, if it could even be considered a crime in the first place. A crime and its punishment are both quite relative to each other in nature. The act that the authority considered a crime was nothing but an innocent act of curiosity to me. My day-to-day life was drastically changed since the moment I received my sentence. It was really surreal. My jail cell used to feel like a sickening and suffocating little coffin in which I was locked while the trial was in progress. Yet I had begun feeling a strange sort of pain, deep and thick inside of my chest for this minuscule little rat cage. 1 square foot of the sky was visible from its tiny window, and I stared at that little patch of blue for hours. I was never aware that such raw and unfathomable beauty could hide in something plain as a piece of white cloud in the light blue sky. A very undiluted form of love somehow flourished within me these days for everything on the earth. Just the other day, I experienced an intense pain from just watching a perfect line of working ants, busy harvesting food from my leftover piece of bread. I was slowly preparing myself for my imminent demise for the last couple of weeks. It has proven to be an immense task. Logic and reason were constantly failing before the profound resentment that throbbed in me towards all the living, towards all of the universe itself. I wasn't that old. I was no genius, but I had reached the very pinnacle of success thanks to my fiery life force. I had the potential to enjoy my life, maybe make it meaningful even, but I was unfairly robbed of my chance at life. After my death sentence, I was allowed several extra commodities for the last days of my life. The protein count was increased in my meals. I was receiving better drinks. Bathroom facilities had improved, and I was allowed access to newspapers and books to my heart's content. It was funny because nothing could be more pointless than daily news when you're at death's door. I only opened it once when I received it for the first time, and hadn't gotten any inspiration to touch it since. It contained a very lengthy discussion about sending an unmanned spacecraft toward a distant galaxy in which I felt no interest whatsoever.